Romain Dumas, thank you for joining us and being willing to talk about your experience driving the F-150 Lightning SuperTruck at VIR. We could probably spend way too much time talking about your motorsports experience. Your multi 24-hour Le Mans winner. You've won at 12 Hours of Sebring. You've won at Pikes Peak. You hold the track record at Pikes Peak. And adding one at VIR, another record at VIR, was quite the accomplishment. How you doing?
Hello, hi. I mean, everything okay for sure. Yeah, VIR was some weeks ago, and for sure it's was a great memory. I drove there, I think, wow, 15 years ago. So I did not realize that. Yeah, that the track was so nice at the time. I was very Uspensky on a Daytona prototype, so I didn't drive for there for a long time. But such an experience, and again, an incredible racetrack in US.
Have you ever driven that configuration of VIR before?
No, actually not. It was the shorter one. So I remember the first sector for sure and the last corner. But the rest on the middle, I did not remember. At the time, it was a tree also somewhere. I think they cut the tree because the tree was not there anymore. And it was a corner around the tree. But yeah, except that, I didn't remember much.
Yeah, Oak Tree, rest in peace. We miss that one dearly. So let's talk a bit about the F-150 Lightning SuperTruck. Quick stats, what, 2,200 horsepower around there. What is it? 6,000 pounds of downforce at 150 miles an hour. This has the footprint of a regular F-150, and it's so fast. Briefly talk about what it's like to drive something that quick, that big, with that kind of mass.
Well, I think it's, yeah, at the end of the day, if you are thinking about all the number you just enumerate, it means, a lot of power, a lot of downforce, and a lot of weight. But we don't have to forget it's an electric, so means no gears, no noise. As soon you go on power, so much power. So at the end of the day, in any case, we still have an 18-inch. So it means you need to find a way to put all this power on the ground, and not to destroy the tires with the weight you have to deal with. So yeah, it's not an easy thing to drive, definitely. At the start, it's quite impressive. For sure, I can take the quickest car in terms of acceleration, go, but not far away. So yeah, on the corner, you always keep in mind, to try to have very good exit, to try to put for sure the power on the ground and not to to go too early to etc. Because for sure you don't have to you have to manage his power. Funny thing is that you have really to keep, even if it's 4x4, we don't have to forget we have to manage how we use the power. So yeah, it's a great. I mean, the truck, compared to the super van, it's already so much faster, lower also, and you remember already a little bit a kind of prototype because so much downforce. So it's to drive the truck is it's really cool.
I can imagine. I think we should probably not wait any further and start watching the lap. So let's do that now. You can immediately see the acceleration is stout, let's say, especially on the front straight when you reach nearly 190 miles an hour. What are you thinking approaching turn one?
Well, I think it's one of the hardest point during the lap because you are coming, as you said, at 190 miles per hour nearly. And don't forget, you have a small kink before the braking. And I can tell you, when you arrive at this speed, in the braking and this track, if you look, you have no curbs outside, just flat grass. It's very difficult if you were to brake for mark on the left side. But at this speed and the weight, as you said, and the downfall, as you said, to judge where you should brake, it was very difficult. And for sure, the small kink at 190 miles per hour is already quite impressive.
This is at 180.
At the rest, you see the corner coming. Then the corner one, because it's really flat, it was not easy at all.
In most street cars, you don't even notice that kink because you're not going fast enough. That kink really starts to become a turn at like above 160, and here you are, it's what, 40 miles an hour faster, 30 miles an hour faster. And then it's almost the same thing on the back straight, big braking zone into a tight right-hander. I imagine it's very similar, right?
Exactly. I mean, the back straight, you will see when you reach the video, what is even harder is you don't know where is the right happen. So you are braking really on a blind spot, and you have to judge more or less lap after lap, to find your braking point. So because you have this crest, but yeah, corner one is quite challenging because he impressed you with the speed you are coming.
So talk to me about how you're approaching the curbing. This truck has, you're widely adjustable in terms of height. It seems like you're attacking the curbs pretty aggressively. It seemed to withstand that.
Yeah, I mean, depends for sure on the latest. Like with all the cars, you have to cut the curb as much as possible, even if it, with this weight, you have a big advantage that the car is not jumping so high, let's say like that, because it's so much downforce and so much weight. So the car is taking the curb quite well, and so you have some place that you have really to use the curb aggressively, like for sure the races, but on the opposite way, like the last chicane before the back straight, I mean the main straight, you use it a little bit, but let's say like that, on the lateral, when you are taking the curb, from the front side is okay. On the lateral, it can disturb the car. And with this kind, of car with so much downforce, you will see through the lap, I don't have a lot of oversteer. I soon, that with the weight and downforce, I think you oversteer, you're in a terrible situation. So you don't want to have this situation, let's say like that.
I can imagine oversteering something that fast, that powerful would be quite something to experience.
Yeah, yeah. Or not. Better not to experience, I have to say. Better not.
So with the battery size on the truck, it doesn't give you a lot of opportunity. And that lap being so long, you don't get a lot of back-to-back practice sessions. How do you build up to speed on a track that long, outside of being the professional that you are, of course? But what's your strategy in learning that track?
I mean, it's a very clear and hard point for sure. Experience year after year with electric car made me a little bit more confident. At the start, you are very disturbed about not having noise, not having gears, not having rev, to give you feedback. Your only feedback you have is your visibility, your view. So for sure, when you are suddenly at this speed, you can imagine to find, as we said, the breaking point, etc., is quite hard. But yeah, for sure, we are practicing quite a lot on the team, and this is clear. I mean, the VIR, we don't practice it so much, but the team is helping. Plus, I think the experience also, clearly. I mean, if you know the track, if you have the chance to drive or drove the track before with a prototype or something, it also gives you some feedback in terms of corner speed or downforce, you can imagine. So I think it's a great mix of experience, let's say like that, to arrive to drive this car quite fast.
That's great. When this truck was at VR, it had a 4-motor configuration. At Pikes Peak, it had a 3-motor configuration. Aside from the difference in acceleration, of course, what's the driving experience with regard to handling and balance? Is that noticeable or is it similar?
Oh, no, no, it's noticeable clearly. I mean, four motor, you have a lot more downforce, but again, like I said before, it's not because you have, I mean, it's a big advantage to have more power. You will get also more weight because you have another one. But at the end of the day, you need to put the power on the ground. It's not at the end, this is like the race car we ever drove. You need to put power on the ground. So it's not because suddenly you have 400 more horsepower that you have to throw it away. No, you have to use it. So again, in terms of setup, when we are using the fourth engine, it's for sure a little bit more tricky than with three, because for sure we have much more power on the front axle and more wheel spin on it. So we need really to find how to use it properly.
And the overall effect, it seems to be very obvious that it worked well. You went I think 6.5 seconds quicker than the last previous vehicle that did a lap there. Huge improvement in terms of lap time. That kind of seems to be what this truck was built to do, or this race truck was built to do. Where else would you like to see the truck run?
I mean, at the end of the day, you have so many nice tracks in US that we could drive, like Atlanta, like even Road America, for sure it's longer, but it would be so much fun because on a fast corner, it starts to be also really, really fast. It gives you such a good feedback. I mean, to drive at this speed, I can tell you, you are doing, it's like a qualified lap, you are exhausted at the end of your lap. So again, you have to deal with the weight on the braking, etc. But we, regenerate on braking. So we still have quite a good performance on braking for sure. It's not its best point because it's quite heavy, but all the rest is just amazing. I mean, and we don't have to forget. I mean, it's high, it's heavy because it's a truck. So at the end of the day, it's not a LMP car or hypercar now or a single seat car. it's crazy when you see we could put a single seat on the back of this truck. Yes, this is for sure.
Well, thank you so much for walking us through the driving experience, explaining the vehicle to us. It was fantastic to watch the video, and I hope everybody enjoys watching it as much as we did in person. It was super great.
No problem. With pleasure, and I'm sure we'll have some other good, let's say, records, and I hope we will have some of it because it's always a big fun to drive this car.
Well, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.